Welcome back for another episode of the Real Cinema Show. My name is Rob,
I'm Devin.
and on this show we talk about movies. We talk about cinema. We talk about movies in the cinema, what's going to the cinema, what we saw in the cinema, trailers that are on YouTube, and all sorts of things like that. Devin, we made a mistake last week. So we both saw Y2K, and we did not have an out of theater reaction for you guys. We apologize.
Yes.
We'll do out of
We'll be
theater
better.
reactions this coming week. So, yeah. So we're just gonna jump right into it. We can recap. Devin, we both saw Y2K.
Yes.
I'm gonna throw it to you first. What'd you think?
It's funny, but like in the dumbest ways imaginable. Like you have to have the dumbest sense of humor, I guess, or like
Okay.
I don't know if that's the best way to put it, but like just really silly jokes
Yeah.
where you're just completely turn your brain off. Like turn your brain off and then like throw your brain out of your body for the entire runtime of the movie. It feels like.
Yeah. So I thought the first half of Y2K was like, okay, it feels like a real movie, like
Yeah.
the comedy was landing. I thought
No.
as much, it was a silly comedy, but it was landing. I did like all the references to, the late 90s, early 2000s. But the second half, I felt like got super ridiculous
Yes.
and a little less funny. If that,
I agree with how you saw the first half and second half in terms of like just the overall like maybe story in terms of the jokes landing. I didn't think the jokes got that bad in the second half. I thought it's still all played well with that respect. It's just some of the like dialogue where they're like, the end of the world stuff's happening now because of the robots and all this. And I'm like, oh my god, this is terrible with how this third act is going with regards to every storyline imaginable with how it's happening.
Yeah. And I felt like, in theory, this movie probably read a lot better as a script,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
I guess, like...
Because I'm like, okay, this, there's stakes, there's, I thought the character moments were pretty good.
Yeah.
But then I walked away just going like, okay, I liked it. It was fun, if you turn off your brain and...
I still had a lot of like pretty big laugh out loud moments, I think, in this movie. For me, at least. What about you? Do you think
There was, you said?
Yeah, for me at least.
Oh yeah, yeah. There was a couple moments where I was laughing pretty hard.
Yeah, it also had one person made there's a big surprise in this movie of sorts that I won't.
Yeah, that cameo was a funny one. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah. That was a good moment. But Kyle Mooney,
Yes.
the director of this is his first movie he's ever directed, right? He's an actor. I have somehow, missed all of his movies previously, I believe.
Well, he's mainly, at least what I know of his main credits, that he was on SNL for a few seasons.
Was he?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah. So he's done like stuff like this on SNL. He really does play like a really dumb character.
Okay.
Yeah. So it feels right up his alley with this movie.
Now that you said that his character makes sense, because he plays this like stoner video store clerk who goes along the journey with these characters once the apocalypse happens.
Yeah,
and I thought he was hilarious. He was hilarious in every part of the movie.
I feel like a lot of this movie was written while Kyle was stoned. He wrote a lot of this movie, like
100%.
Because when you're just hearing some of the dialogue and jokes, you're going, seriously, is this what we're doing right now?
Yeah.
It's just...
I thought the horror elements could have been a little bit more horror.
Yeah.
But I think like I get it. It's a dark comedy. I just think they could have made it a little more intense.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
They worked for me early on in the house. I thought the horror elements there.
Yeah.
I also thought there were some great kills in the house and throughout the movie in general.
I agree too.
That was probably also one of the standout parts, the creative kills they had.
Yeah.
Where I was going, oh my god, we're doing this now and this is happening.
Yeah.
So that was probably the only other highlight of this movie, I think, for me.
Okay. So Oh, you know what I also realized is when I was looking at the credits after the movie ended, that Jonah Hill was one of the 9 producers of the film, which kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's been involved in a lot of 90s type of stories.
Yeah.
Like Jonah Hill's first movie he directed was called Mid 90s.
Oh, okay.
It's about a skateboarder in the 90s, basically. I thought Jaden Martell was pretty good as the lead character. He kind of came off as like a, you know who he reminded me of? He reminded me of, who's the actor that plays Spider-Man? Not Tom Holland.
Garfield.
Garfield. He kind of reminded me of like a Garfield Spider-Man.
Like the Peter Parker kind of aspect.
Yeah.
Interesting.
He kind of give a Peter Parker vibe.
I kind of see that.
Like rated R Peter Parker vibe.
He's a pretty good actor. I've seen his credits, and he's in a lot of things already that I'm like, wow, okay, he was in that. I think he was in It.
Yep.
He was in a series on Apple with Chris Evans that was pretty good.
Yep.
Defending Jacob.
Yep.
So he's been in a few good things. And Rachel Zegler, I think that's...
Yep.
She's she's blown up very quickly in the few movies she's done.
Yeah. I was actually kind of surprised that she was even in this, just because I felt like that this movie was, not to disrespect the movie, but beneath her.
Yes.
Like, she's in Snow White. She was in West Side Story, directed by Steven Spielberg. You know, like, and for her to just be like in this, like, you know, really low budget movie. The budget's $15 million.
Oh, okay.
And it's a first time filmmaker movie. You know, watching it, you know, you can kind of tell that it was this person's first movie, you know.
Yeah, but maybe it's her first time. Like, maybe she just want to try something different compared to... She's done, like you said, Snow White. She's done Shazam, Fury of the Gods. She did
huge movies.
Yeah, Spielberg was her first movie she did. That was, I think, her very first acting credit, The West Side Story.
Wow.
And lead in a Spielberg movie.
That's crazy.
Wow. Yeah, so I think she just wanted to try something different, comedy, like where she's like literally playing like a kid like herself.
Yeah.
And then, you know, seeing how it goes, and obviously not a hit with this one.
Yeah, and you bring that up. So before we give our rating, I do want to mention that on IMDb, it has a 4.8 out of 10, which is not good.
No.
And on Rotten Tomatoes, it currently has a 43%.
Yeah, sounds...
What is your rating of the movie?
I brought it down to a 5.3, and that's probably even high, or being generous. Okay. It was like going... It was a 6, and then I went 5.5, and I was like, it's like a 5.3. It's bad.
Yeah.
It's just... I gave it that because of the laughs, and mainly more than anything else.
Yeah. I feel like... I wish I could rate the movie in 2 halves.
Okay.
Like the first half, I give it like an 8. The second half, I give like a 5.
Yeah.
So I guess if we bring it down, maybe a 7.
Oh, okay.
6.5. I did like this movie.
Okay.
Do I recommend people go see it? I don't think so, but then again, you know, if you like this sort of comedy, there's some fun to be had.
I think what stands out for me is I was looking through my A-list so far this year, and I was like, okay, how does this stand up against other comedies? And I was going, I'm like, there's not been a lot of other comedies this year. Like, in general, it's not been a lot of comedies this year.
No, it's been a horror year for sure.
Like, I looked, and there's like, Dee Dee was a comedy drama. There was A Real Pain. There is, honestly, at this point, I would think Deadpool and Wolverine's, like, it's officially not a comedy probably, but I would put it in that category almost.
Yeah.
And then there's only, like, Ministry of Ungentleman Warfare is an action movie, but it has some comedic moments.
Yep.
So it's like, it's hard to figure out, like, you know, maybe it's even like a top comedy because there's not much really out there.
Yeah.
Where it stands out in that regard, I think.
Yeah, I would have to agree. So yeah, that's what we saw this week. That was the only
Y2K.
Movie. Y2K, yeah. All right. On to trailers of the week. I'm tired, so if I mess up, just...
We'll get through it.
Yeah. Sonic, Knuckles, Tails reunite to battle Shadow. Yes, I said that right. A mysterious new enemy with powers unlike anything they've faced before. With their abilities unmatched in every way, they seek out an unlikely alliance to stop Shadow and protect the planet. This is Sonic the Hedgehog 3, releasing December 20th. What did you think of the trailer?
I thought it was another pretty good trailer. The only thing I'll say that I didn't like about this trailer it immediately tells you that Carrey's character and his like dad, I believe, are like already gonna backstab Sonic and based off the trailer and go side with Shadow.
Yes. Yeah. So I was gonna say that too, but I was gonna say that the trailers that we saw previously to this, I feel like this trailer just rewrote the plot of the movie. You know what I mean?
I don't know if it rewrote it for me. It didn't rewrite as much as it just completely like told me the whole movie now at this point.
Well, are we sure that
it's not another gonna be a fake out or?
Well, yeah. So at the end of the movie, are they going to make an alliance with Jim Carrey, or are they going to do that at the beginning of the movie, and then he turns on them?
I was thinking it's like, at this point, I just came up with the thought that it's going to be a double backstab where they initially backstab Sonic, and then at the end they backstab Shadow, maybe.
Yeah.
Because now they told me in the first trailer, I was like, oh, okay, cool. Sonic and his friends go to Jim Carrey's character for help.
Yep.
And now it's, oh, wait, they just backstab them immediately? So what do I not know about this movie at this point, feels like, about how this movie is likely to go and how it's likely to end just based off basic movie tropes.
Yeah.
But it still seemed pretty funny at times, and I still enjoyed the trailer other than where I felt like now I just know all the main plot points, possibly.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this trailer didn't really, I didn't see the first two.
Mm-hmm.
This didn't make me want to see the third one. Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you just said, but these movies aren't for me.
Yeah.
So it's expected that I'm gonna have to say pass, right?
Because I think they're fun, I'm gonna try to binge the first two and watch this one.
Okay.
I also read that there's gonna be multiple post-credit scenes for this one, so
interesting.
I have a feeling like it's probably not gonna be the last Sonic movie they do.
Well, they make money, I think, right? So
they've made a little bit of money, and as we mentioned on the last time we talked about Sonic, Jim Carrey said he was pretty much done with acting.
Yeah.
Unless a golden script came around, and 2 years later, he's back and doing Sonic movies. So
that's what the paycheck does.
He's not having fun. He's just doing it for the paycheck, or is it both?
Oh, he's probably having fun too.
Yeah. All right. The true story of seasoned deep sea divers who battle the raging elements to rescue a crewmate who's trapped hundreds of feet below the ocean's surface. Last Breath. What'd you think of the trailer? I thought it was a pretty good trailer. I remember seeing, I think, one time in theaters recently in a preview, and I was going, well, this looks pretty good.
Yeah.
And then we saw it again just recently, obviously, and it's solid, good tension, stakes are high. And then obviously what gets me for a lot of movies, especially something that like this, is that's a true story, which makes me like going, okay, now I definitely want to see this story and how it plays out. Good little cast too, with Woody Harrelson and Simu Liu. Looking forward to seeing this one.
Yeah, this movie is pure nightmare fuel.
Yeah.
Like, this is being stuck in the middle of the ocean, under the ocean, just in the pitch black darkness.
Mm-hmm.
That's the scariest thing I think I can imagine.
Yeah.
And while watching the trailer, I did feel that anxiety of like, oh my God, I feel claustrophobic kind of. Mm-hmm. So the trailer, I thought, did a really good job of showing that. And yeah, like you said, a true story. I'm curious, as to what the differences are, because obviously they're going to make this one more cinematic and, but, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, like you said, I hate when movies like they're based on a true story kind of just completely go, oh, let's just change this part of the story when there's no need, and like you could have just told the story the same way. It feels like.
Yeah. Sometimes
I understand it. Like, I think there was a movie, it might have been with Jessica Chastain, where she has to have a lawyer with her. And I read the actual story, and she had, like, a team of lawyers. But in the movie, she's just talking to, like, one person, one lawyer she has.
Mm.
So they summarize a team of lawyers by just having one character. I'm like, so that makes sense.
Yeah, like, to make the story more simple.
Yeah.
Less actors probably to pay.
Yeah, that's true. But, like, do you remember the movie Benedict Cumberbatch did, where he's World War II, he's, like, a math
yes, The Imitation Game.
Yes, that was a fantastic movie. But
I didn't see it.
You didn't see that movie?
Haven't seen it.
Oh my God, that's a fantastic movie. Really? Half the movie's apparently like inaccurate, but I'm like, it's just a fantastic movie. You gotta
Yeah.
see so. But it's just that's like another example where I'm sometimes like, hopefully it sticks pretty close to the story and you make a good movie out of it.
Yeah,
Really.
I'm excited. I'm gonna see it.
I'm gonna see it as well.
All right. The live action adaptation of 1937's Disney animated classic, The Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Snow White, releasing March 21st. What'd you think of the trailer? Does it make you want to see it? Are you going to pass?
Looked like a solid little trailer. Rachel Zegler, another movie she's starring in, with Gal Gadot. Nothing stand out for me. It's not like Sonic for You. It's not my type of movie or demographic.
Yeah.
Where I'm just like, all right, looks good for what it is. I'm sure whoever's going to see it, they'll be excited for it. Mark Webb directed it. He directed both of the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies. And it's also partially written by Greta Gerwig, director of Barbie and some other big movies.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so got potential, it seems like, but not for me.
Interesting. While I was watching the trailer, and I just thought, okay, so they casted Rachel Zegler, and she's acting opposite these CGI characters. Why didn't they just cast 7 actual dwarf people?
Wait, those are the dwarfs those weren't just really
Those are CGI. All of
I
them
didn't
were CGI.
pay attention again. No.
Yeah, I don't know. Is that stupid to think that they could have casted real people?
They really could have. That would have been a lot better. Now I need to go back and look at the trailer, but yeah, that would have made a lot more sense to actually cast real people.
I mean, I guess you can't give it that sort of animated look that they do have because they all do look similar to the cartoons.
Yeah,
but I mean, if you're making a live action, commit to live action, right?
Do you think the biggest reason this film's being made is because they've had really big success with previous live action films, or they thought
100%?
Okay, yeah, nothing else.
Yeah,
with how the Lion King and other films have gone live action.
Yeah,
it's just a new trend now because nothing original makes money, I guess, or is being made really in general. Unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean the original was it's a classic. Might as well just make another one and hopefully, you.
If this movie's good, do you think it makes $1 billion or more?
It could.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could.
It definitely has the potential, I think.
But yeah, it's, like you said, I'm sure that if this is your type of movie, you're probably excited. But to me, it's just, I'm not I don't watch princess movies. I'm a 32-year-old adult male, I don't care.
So we're both passing, I think?
We're passing.
Yeah.
All right. A young female assassin seeks revenge against the people who killed her family. Simple enough. Ballerina, releasing June 6th, 2025. What do you think of the trailer?
This is more of an extended look, kind of off the first trailer more than anything else.
Yeah. I like how they show behind-the-scenes bits in this.
It gives you a much bigger appreciation for the scale and how hard it is to make these films.
Yeah.
The stunt work, the time it takes to learn it, and then and make it happen in real time. It's pretty impressive, and I'm really excited about this movie. As I've said before, this movie looks awesome. I can't wait to see this movie.
Yeah. So I saw the first 3 John Wicks. Loved the first one. Didn't really like the second one.
Really?
Loved the third one. Didn't see the fourth one. I didn't see the fourth one because it's okay, it's all the same. He goes and he fights people and kills people. What are we doing different, right? And when I saw the original teaser of this a few months back, I was like, okay, female John Wick, who cares,
Yeah.
But this extended look made me excited.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't think I was gonna be excited for this, but I'm fully on board. This movie looks like it's gonna be visually stunning. The choreography is obviously gonna be great. Just like the original, or just like the John Wick films.
Yeah.
And the action's gonna be brutal. This looks like a good time.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, this movie was directed by Len Wiseman, but then Chad Stahelski, I forget how you say his name. He directed the first 4 John Wicks.
Okay.
He came in and did a couple weeks of reshoots on this one. So there's a lot of reporting that like it was months of reshoots, but then he corrected and said it's only a few weeks because apparently Lionsgate weren't happy with the original version. So he came in, worked on it, touched up, and now like they're like, okay, now everyone's like, because I saw some stuff that's also John Wick 3.5 is what some people are saying, like because this takes place in between 3 and 4 of John Wick.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And that sounds like Keanu Reeves might have a decent sized role in it, but the action looks great throughout. I'm still pretty excited about this movie. The flamethrowers they were talking about at the end, that looks pretty awesome too. Yeah. Sounds awesome.
And what's cool is that because you get to see these behind the scenes, like little bits of the director and the camera operator and her, Ana de Armas, you can tell that these people love what they're doing and that they're excited that they're making this movie. And it's not just like, oh, for the paycheck, let's phone it in.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, she says in the like preview in this little trailer, like, oh, I set 106 people on fire today. It's like, oh, okay, that's what we're doing today. Great day at work.
Yeah. So yeah, we're both seeing that.
Yeah, and all the characters from the original John Wick movies. Lance Reddick in his probably one of his last appearances in any film or I can think of.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, as well as Ian McShane.
Did you see The Continental?
I did not. I wanted to, but unfortunately didn't get good reviews. But I still wanted to at some point, but.
Yeah, maybe I'll have to check that out too.
Yeah.
All right. So opening this week, we have a couple things. We have The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim animated film. What do you think?
It looks all right. I've seen the preview a few times now in theaters. I'm like, okay, it's got potential here to be, something decent. The story looks all right.
Yeah.
But for me, I've got bigger priorities with the other two movies, so this kind of sits on the back burner for me.
Okay. So you haven't seen the original Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Yes, I'm uncultured. I know. Thanks.
And yeah, I don't know how you.
Thanks for that reminder, Rob.
Yep. But so the trailer starts off with, shots of
some live
clips
action
of the original Lord of the Rings films. But then we get into, the animated film and, clips from that. And it just seems so unfamiliar to me.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't feel like the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And I think that the trailer was trying to like, hey, look, we're connected, But I don't know any of these characters. And so I feel like people that like the books are going to appreciate this.
Okay.
Because it says Lord of the Rings in the title, there's a chance I give this a shot.
Okay.
But I'm not overly like, I'm ready to see it,
I think it says in the, early on in the trailer, it's 200 years, right? Isn't it supposed to be way before the main trilogy?
Yeah, it's almost like a prequel.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe that's kind of why you don't know the characters, or it's way earlier in their bloodline, I guess.
Yeah. So, I don't know if I'm seeing it yet.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Craven's complex relationship with his ruthless father starts him down a path of vengeance, motivating him to become not only the greatest hunter in the world, but also one of its most feared. Craven the Hunter is also coming out. Are you going to see Craven the Hunter?
Yes. I'm seeing now the 6th installment in this Sony Spider-Less verse that has been nothing but disappointments and a few laughs. I just want this movie to be decent. It doesn't even have to be good or great. Just be decent. The only thing this movie looks like it's promising is good action. And at this point, I'll take that.
And a six-pack abs.
Sure. It promises that too, it seems like.
Yeah.
That's about it. And this will be your first movie, right, if you see this of the Sony Spider-Verse without Spider-Man?
If I had any say in what goes on in my life, I would say that I'm not seeing Craven the Hunter. And I'm not saying that it's going to be bad. It's just, that's it. It's a shrug of a movie.
Yeah.
But I like Russell Crowe. So there's that. Aaron Taylor Johnson's a great actor.
Yep.
But I think I might be forced into seeing this by my girlfriend. So I will most likely see this weekend.
All right.
Yeah. So,
both seen it.
Yeah. All right. During the 1972 Munich Olympics, an American sports broadcasting crew finds itself thrust into covering the hostage crisis involving Israeli athletes. This movie is September 5th, coming out this week. Not on September 5th. The movie's called September 5th. It's releasing in a limited release and then going wide a few weeks later. Actually, a month later, basically. January 17th.
Yep.
Are you going to see September 5th?
Definitely. I believe there's only one trailer for this movie. And normally that's a bad sign for me, at least. Because I'm like, oh, they don't have any faith in this movie. They're just trying to throw it under the rug.
Yeah.
But this looks pretty good. It looks like it's... I saw like a little bit of talk, like it could be in that kind of Oscar talk and nominations for a few categories. Because it looks like it's got screenplay and best picture kind of feel to it with how it's done. The tone, it looks intense. I think it's a thriller and a drama. It looks great. Everything about it has me saying, I need to go see this immediately. Within the first 5 seconds in the trailer, I'm going, okay, I need to go see this movie because it just grabs you immediately. I'm definitely seeing it this weekend.
Yeah, the trailer grabs you immediately. And right now I'm looking at the early reviews. Has a 6.9 on IMDb, 83% on Rotten Tomatoes. Mm-hmm. 83 on Rotten Tomatoes is pretty good. Yeah. Let me see how many reviews it has.
What's considered good for IMDb? Because I know it's probably, is it like a simple, is that like a C minus, D plus?
I don't know. I think like it's hard because like I like Adam Sandler movies, and they get like a 6 on IMDb.
Okay.
So it's like you really.
Mm-hmm.
This is a critic review, right? So I feel like critics are a lot harsher on movies.
Yep.
So
in general, it feels like
in general, yeah. So it's out of 36 reviews, it has 83%.
Okay.
So that's pretty good.
Yeah, no, that's still pretty good. I like to look at Rotten Tomatoes a lot more than IMDb because I feel like I don't understand IMDb's system to the same level.
It's basically just fan voting.
Oh, okay. Is that what it is?
That's really what it is. I'll actually show you how I do it because I have the IMDb app.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. So we are seeing September 5th.
Okay, you're seeing it? Oh yeah.
Not 100%.
Okay.
Will I see it eventually? Yes. It's a movie that I do want to see.
Uh-huh.
But Craven's probably a 100% lock. Lord of the Rings is 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
September 5th. I'll have to figure that out. I have to see what my schedule looks like.
Okay. This is a lock for me with Craven. I definitely want to see it this weekend.
Okay. So I'm looking forward to seeing your out-of-the-theater reaction, Devin.
I will do it. All right, Rob?
All right, cool.
Missed one like you missed it.
If you do one, I'll do one. So.
Great.
Yeah. All right, that'll do it for this installment of the Real Cinema Show. Thank you all for watching.
Goodbye.